I miss Golem Forest. I miss the golems dying. Noise they make when they die. Crazy how these rash furballs are level 70s and the golems are like level 50s, but they look so much more intimidating. Do you think they will make a big changes to Meso Explosion Bandit 3rd job? No, I don't think so. I think if they make any changes, well, at least I think if anything, if they make any changes, I guess like change the damage amplification of Meso Explosion with make it a little bit higher with smaller mesos. So I'll tell you a little bit about the playstyle of bandits. Bandits, when you get to a certain level, they have this skill called pickpocket. So when they use savage blow, right, the 6 hitting skill, when it hits 6 times, each time an enemy is hit, it has a chance of dropping a small amount of meso. It's called the skill pickpocket. And it's awesome because you're hitting them and meso is just flying out everywhere. It's like so cool to see and so satisfying. The issue with that is, one, it's not enough meso to pick up. It's just actually a waste of time for you to physically go pick up those mesos, and it's not worth it. Two, when you use Meso Explosion, and I get the combination, it's just so satisfying to use because after you've been mobbing for a bit, right, on a small platform, there's mesos all over the floor, like 10, 15, 7, 5, whatever, however many. And then you use Meso Explosion on top of all those small mesos, and it just goes doo 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 doo. The noise is just so satisfying, and this is me speaking as someone who leveled a Shadower up to 134. It's so fun. I mean, the class is so fun to play with the mixture of using Assaulter, Savage Blow, Boomerang step, and then using Dark Sight to avoid, and then if you hit the enemy from the back with Assassinate, they have a final attack which always crits, and sometimes you'll get like 9999 crit damage even as a level 134. It's such a cool class and the design is awesome. The only downside, well, it's not the only downside, the class obviously has flaws and that's what makes it beautiful. Like, you can't make everything perfect. But one of the flaws with the class is that when I was using Pickpocket and Meso Explosion, the damage of the Meso Explosion of those small mesos that drop is really underwhelming. Like, instead of using Meso Explosion, you would almost rather just use another Boomerang step. It almost feels like it's a waste of time because Meso Explosion as a timer, like when you use it, there's an animation time that kind of locks you in for like 0.23 seconds. And it just feels underwhelming to the point that it feels like it's a waste of time. And Meso Explosion does a lot of damage when you drop a lot of mesos. The issue is when it's a small amount of mesos, it's not doing enough damage for it to feel purposeful. So if they're gonna make any changes, I would, what I would do if I was the developer is that make the damage, because obviously the design is there. I mean, unless their intent was to drop tens of mesos for you to loot and collect money, to me that's a bad design and it's flawed. But if Pickpocket was implemented into the game to kind of have it work off of Meso Explosion, then make the damage a little bit more stronger when lower mesos are dropped. It doesn't have to be game breaking, but like, let's say if Boomerang step I'm doing 6,000, 8,000, and with Savage Blow I'm hitting like 800 to 1500 damage per hit, but then I use Meso Explosion with all these mesos on the ground and the damage is coming up to be like 800, 900, 700. Like, it's like super underwhelming, right? Like, I would rather it do a little bit more damage. I thought Meso Explosion was broken for some weird grinding strats. Meso Explosion is OP, don't get me wrong. It's one of the strongest skills, but you have to spend a lot of mesos. So let's say you want to go kill Pianus, right? The big old fish, or Papulatus. or Leviathan and Lifre. Like, you want to go kill the field boss. You can prep that field boss by dropping millions of mesos to get the HP down to 50%. But is it worth it? Yeah, maybe if it drops something valuable, but are you really gonna spend millions of mesos for it to drop nothing? Like, potentially drop nothing? I would say no. I mean, I don't want to do that. I don't like that mechanic of Meso Explosion personally. I don't like dropping a lot of money to do a lot of damage. Not a fan of that. I like the idea of Meso Explosion working in combination with Pickpocket, because I'm not the one spending money. I'm not sitting there like for 5 minutes in Zac raid, because you see some shadowers, what they do is they use Dark Sight and they start dropping like meso bags on top of meso bags on top of meso bags for 5 minutes, and they blow it all up in like 10 seconds. You just spent I don't know how many millions, if not hundreds. You just spent hundreds of thousands of mesos, if not millions of mesos, to do like an inch of Zakum's health. Makes no sense, right? At least for me. Plus, while you're dropping mesos, you're not doing damage. You're sitting there just kind of idle. So was it really worth it? In my opinion, no. There is, I think, one thing is they use Meso Explosion at gobies, those little fishes in aquarium, but even then it's to expedite the leveling process. It's kind of not worth it to do it that way. It's a niche spell, it's a niche skill, and it has like its uses, I guess, in certain cases. But for me, I would only use Meso Explosion when there was Meso that I didn't want to pick up, and I would just blow it up to hear the sound effect of the explosion, because the damage was really underwhelming. I wish the damage was more amplified so people would use it more often with like Meso from pickpocketing. I think the idea was you are the only class who can easily solo bosses at early level. Maybe that was the idea, but that's true too. With Meso Explosion, you can go to a boss, and granted you don't die in a couple of hits before you blow up all the mesos. You are one of the few classes, right? There's an identity there, right? You can kill the bosses at lower level, but you're spending a crap ton of mesos doing it. Yeah, if you guys want to play Bandit, I would highly recommend playing Bandit. Like, don't listen to what other people have to say. It's an extremely fun class. It's one of the few classes that makes you feel like you're actually doing playing an action RPG MMO compared to other classes like Dragon Knight. Like the class that I'm playing right now, this is the only way. This is probably the only way that this is the only attack that I'll use until level 200. You know, the Dragon Buster. When I hit my 4th job advancement, I'll get Rush, I believe it's called in English. I'll use Rush into the enemies to kind of collect them in a group, and then use Dragon Buster to grind them down. But the Shadower really feels like an evasive combo type of class. Like, you're doing combos, you're throwing jabs, right? You're quick, you're nimble, you're fast. Dragon Knight feels like I'm mopping, literally going around mopping leaf ray of these little dust bunnies. I'm cleaning. I feel like a janitor, and I'm just trying to get some loot by clearing up dust bunnies. And I think Shadower's unique in that sense. No other class has that type of feeling other than the Night Lord. Night Lord has a different mechanic where they feel like the combo, the feeling of playing that character. There's a unique feeling to the class for Night Lords that really other classes can't emulate. I guess that's just a thief thing in general. And I would not recommend playing Bowmaster because I've played Bowmaster and it's extremely boring. Extremely boring. You just kind of stand there and you use Hurricane. One skill. You press down one button at a boss. And it's kind of boring. It's kind of same thing for Night Lords, but at least they can jump around with flash jump and use triple throw. Shadowers, you know, at least in boss, at least you're using boomerang step. You can't use assaulter, kind of unfortunate, because you're gonna die if you use assaulter into Zakum or Horntail. You're gonna a death sentence. But while you're hitting the bosses, these mesos fly out everywhere, like little coins fly out everywhere. And once they stack enough, you can use Meso Explosion. There's like a little bit of combo in there. Use Savage Blow to get the mesos out. Use Boomerang Step when you need to reach a longer distance, because Boomerang Step is longer on the X-axis. When you use it, sometimes you can hit multiple arms, whereas Savage Blow, it's more of a single target, just to drop the mesos type of thing.